hopefully you're watching this video after just fearlessly attacking some fear, making some broker calls, and then of course getting to the next yellow line, okay? So speaking of that, how did your broker calls go? What did you learn? What could you have done better, right? And of course, what did you absolutely freaking just kill it at, right?
Yeah.
Remember to document those things as you go throughout the process. When you do that, okay, you'll learn and you'll grow at a rapid pace, okay? So document and then celebrate too, okay? Hopefully y'all celebrated after completing day 10. If not, go grab some ice cream, pat yourself on the back, and celebrate, okay? With that said, let's dive into today. Now, today we're gonna get just a lot more in depth on the actual how-tos right behind your broker call. So step one will be to define the target. Now, before we even pick up the phone, we need to define the target. Now, essentially, we have to define what we're looking for, right? Meaning our investment model, our returns, target returns, right? And then research about the area. So you should have already done your market research in week one, right? So you already did your market research, hopefully. And then yesterday, you defined your investment model and your target returns here, okay? If not, go back and do that. But if you did, that means you're already ahead of the game. Okay, look at you already kicking ass today. I'm proud of you, okay? When we understand what kind of properties we want and in what areas we want them, it inevitably fuels our confidence, okay? We don't go into a call blind hoping for education from the broker. We go in mindful and calculated, okay? So the next step would then be to define your broker. Define your broker, meaning who are they? What are their wants and needs? Is there something that we can build commonality on? We need to go in and do some research beforehand to make sure that we're weaponized as we go into our call, okay? So some examples of what to look for, okay? Number one, read their bio. They probably have a bio somewhere. Go read it, see what it says. What markets and properties do they specialize in? What kind of sellers do they typically target? Have they won any awards that we might be able to mention or research or comment on, right? And also, is there any topics that we should avoid? For example, do they have a dog or were they mauled by a dog, right, when they were younger? There's a big difference there. If it's the latter, maybe steer clear of using your bulldog as an icebreaker. And don't ask me how I know that. Okay, do that research and weaponize yourself with the ability to connect. Okay, that'll help you a ton. Now, with that, with that said, we need to understand that every broker is different. Okay, every broker is different. So some are very dry and to the point, and some will want to tell you their whole life story. Okay, we need to figure out who that person is and cater our message to them. Okay, now the other one is flip the view. Flip the viewpoint. One of the biggest eye openers for me has been to flip the viewpoint. I learned very early that everyone has a different perspective, and that taking the time to view things from the perspective of others is extremely powerful. Okay, this relates to far more than just broker relationships, by the way. Okay, but for the sake of the topic at hand, we'll stick to brokers. So, for example, instead of researching, what I should be asking a broker, instead I researched, essentially what brokers are taught to look at in investors like you and I. And then I tried to cater my message to meet that narrative. Right? In my research, I've found that 80% of investors are just walking around, right, frustrated that they aren't getting good deals, right, that they can't find investors, and a laundry list of other items. That's because they don't know or they don't focus on what we in the 20% do, right? Instead, they focus solely on what they need and want. And as a consequence, they never get it. Okay, what we need to do, we need to flip the viewpoint. We need to focus on what the brokers want. Okay, we need to continually focus on what the brokers need and want. And then we need to focus on and then speak about what they need and then show them how we can get it, right? And this doesn't mean that we're trying to manipulate the broker. Listen, this is how we put ourselves in a position to provide value, right? To discover what they're looking for. Value is defined as anything of worth or service that when provided to another person creates joy for both parties. So if you learn one thing from this course, learn that, okay? To think in terms of how other people, in terms of the other people's point of view, essentially. This one thing has made me millions and millions of dollars. So think in terms of other people's point of view, okay? The next step will be to create status alignment. Okay, create status alignment. Okay, now I mentioned this a few times yesterday. Let me explain it in some more detail here. In fact, I'll tell you this. I recently had to cancel a flight outside of Delta's cancellation policy, right? And I found myself on the phone with this very nice agent who was trying to help. Okay, an agent who was super nice, but an agent who didn't have the power to solve the problem that I had. The minute that I realized that, I asked for the manager, right? Because I knew that person, as nice as they were, couldn't help me. So let's relate this to brokers for a second, okay? Even if we see things from their point of view, if they don't think that we can help solve their problem, they will not be spending too much time with us, okay? But when they view you as a player, all of that changes. And before I get into the details of status alignment, how we do that, please realize how important it is for us to view ourselves as a player first. People will only treat us how we expect to be treated. This is why affirmations, visualizations, and all of that tree-hugging, hippie mindset stuff works, okay? So you are absolutely a player in this space. Don't ever doubt that. But when you do, because it's inevitably that you will doubt that at some point, don't forget to build yourself back up before the broker call, okay? All right, here's how we create status alignment. So industry lingo. So first we need to use industry lingo, okay? Then we need to speak of a recent action that we just took. And also we need, lastly, we need to mention of something of industry importance, okay? Something important within the industry. For example, I'll give you an example of one I used the other day to gain status alignment. I was speaking with a broker, right, who was trying to see if we'd be able to raise the funds for the deal, even, with the economic uncertainty that was going on. In other words, he was trying to size me up, okay? My response was this. Listen, overall vacancy rates are projected to rise by 20 basis points, over the coming months, but our suburban-based assets are actually performing better year over year. So our investors have seen how those are performing. They've seen how conventional rates are also, sub 3% right now. So no, we're not nervous. And in fact, honestly, it's just the opposite, right? Our investors are beyond bullish on the market right now. I'm going to tell you right now, those 50-something words provided status alignment in a matter of seconds, right? They didn't need to see a schedule of real estate, okay? At that point, all they wanted to know was our buying criteria. Status alignment works. This is your key behind that, okay? Those 3 steps. And then the last step is frame control. And frame control is powerful. Orem Book has this book called Pitch Anything, and you should absolutely consider reading that book. In short, when we control the frame, others react to us. Okay? When we're continually reacting to the other person, though, they own the frame. We always want to own the frame. Let me walk you through some of the most important elements of this, okay? Number 1, the first element, okay, is we need to control the time. Time is important. Time is valuable. Listen, be pleasant and polite, but then get down to business, okay? Sometimes we feel like we have to, do a lot of small talk in the beginning, especially in the beginning. But the reality and what you'll find is that most people don't feel like they have time for small talk. The broker script will help you set this up perfectly, okay? You'll see that. The next element is to ask the questions. That is why, we provided questions for you. In this course, you'll see the questions for that. This allows us to be viewed as the prize, especially when they realize that we can solve their problem. Once again, though, okay, a key aspect for that to actually work is that we actually have to believe that we're the prize. Listen, call me crazy, but that mindset training stuff probably helps with that, okay? And then number 3 is to push and pull. So believe you're the pull, and then number 4 is to push and pull. Push and pull element, meaning we need to show appreciation, we need to show interest and see their perspective, but we don't always need to try to pull them close. When we're always trying to pull somebody close, right, they become anxious and cautious. Okay, understand, they're sizing us up for sure. Politely size them up as well. Okay, a very simple way to push is to make sure that we're the ones who end the phone call. So my advice would be keep the call under 15 minutes and ask the questions. And if you do that, you'll effectively push and pull and control the frame, okay? And you'll see in the broker script that it sets us up to be able to end the call like that. And then the most important element, man, is to have some fun, okay? Have fun. There's nothing more attractive than somebody that enjoys what they do. Have fun with this, okay?